Hey guys, welcome back to Rather Be Visin. My name is Sam, and today we're going to be talking about shortcuts. So if you're an Excel user that's moving over to starting to use Tableau, you're probably clicking around a lot, dragging things all over the place, and you're used to, in Excel, knowing all the keyboard shortcuts to get things done quicker. If you're a power user of Excel, you probably customize your ribbon to have all sorts of buttons up at the top of the page, like create pivot table and all sorts of things like that that allow you to carry out your work faster. Well, the good news is there's a whole bunch of keyboard shortcuts within Tableau that allow you to build out your views even quicker than you have done previously. So let's hop right into Tableau and have a look at what some of these keyboard shortcuts do. Okay, so here we are in Tableau, and the first keyboard shortcut I'm going to show you is how to bring things up either into columns or into rows, depending on where you want it. So all you need to do is select one of your fields over in your data pane on the left-hand side. Then if you're on a Windows machine, you want to press Alt, Shift and C. And if you're on a Mac, then you want to press Options, Shift and C, and that's going to stick it onto columns. We can do the same for rows. So again, we'll pick a field, and this time if we press Alt, Shift and R, that's going to stick it onto rows. If you're on a Mac, the keyboard shortcut is Option, Shift and R. So basically Alt and Option are interchangeable if you're on a Mac. So we've got things onto our columns and our rows. How do we do things onto our marks card? Well, if you want to chuck something onto size, so maybe I want these to be my profit to be on size, then it's Alt, Shift and I. And that's going to stick it onto size. So now you can see the thickness of my bars has changed based on that profit value. Obviously, you all know Control Z is going to undo. I'm going to guess that on a Mac, it's Option Z. Now, for other things on our marks card, obviously we've got size. We've also got detail. So if you want to add in additional detail, you can do so. So we're going to pick a field here, and to stick it onto detail, it's Alt, Shift and L. And there we go, we've now got our product name onto detail. For color, again, it's going to be Alt and Shift or Options and Shift, and this time we are going to press O. So I'm going to put segment onto color, and now you can see that we've split those out. If you want to stick something into the filters, then you can do so by pressing Alt, Shift and F. So if I bring in my order date, I'm going to Alt, Shift and F, you can see it's asking me how I want to filter my order date. So it's going to default to the lowest level of granularity here. So for this particular one, it might just be easier to drag it in. But the option's still there. And if you're using a more discrete field rather than a date, if we chuck in our category, that's going to be a lot easier to bring that up. If you want to bring stuff into the label, it's going to be Alt, Shift and T. So maybe I want to show my discount values. And I'll make sure I tick show mark labels, and there we go, we've got our discount values, but we need to make sure that we change this to be an average, otherwise it's going to be absolute nonsense. One that you probably do know is copying a field. So we know that if we drag our sales from rows onto color, we're going to lose it from our rows, whereas if we hold down Control, that is going to create a copy of it. And we can place this anywhere, so maybe I want to stick it onto columns and get a weird chart there. Maybe I just want to keep on duplicating it all over the place. I can just do that by holding down Control and dragging it across all of my fields. So Control will create a copy of the field. And for Mac, that would be Command. If you want to quickly swap your rows and columns, so you can use this button up the top here, and that's going to switch whatever is on your columns with your rows and vice versa. You can also do that with Control W, and for Mac, that is Control Command and W in order to get that same effect. Now, when you're on dashboard, this one isn't documented, but is quite well known. If you're building out your dashboard, so here we go, I've got this, I'm going to bring in a nice text container here. Here's some text. Maybe I will bring in a web page as well. There we go. Now, if I want to make sure that everything is spaced correctly, and I'm going to be chucking in some containers on here, and I'll make sure my padding's good. If you press G, it's going to bring up a grid on your dashboard, so you can see, have I got this particular element the same size as this other element? and G just turns that on and off. And when you're on your dashboard, if you press T, that's going to switch between dashboard and layout. Of course, you can do all the normal stuff like copying and pasting, so the Control C, Control V, Control Z to undo, Control Y to redo. For your copy and pasting, that's going to be for when you're writing formulas, all that sort of thing can still be done with the good old keyboard shortcuts. If you want to resize, so if you have a text table, so let's just knock together a quick text table. If you have a text table and you want to resize how it's looking, you can do so by holding down the Control key and pressing the arrow keys. So up and down is going to make your rows wider and thinner, and pressing left and right is going to make those columns take up more or less space. And that is a whistle-stop tour of some of the keyboard shortcuts you can do when you're editing within Tableau. So if you get your head around these, they might save you a bit of time, but don't worry too much if it doesn't come to you straight away. If you still want to stick with dragging and dropping, that is one of the best things about Tableau, so stick to doing that. But sometimes you might be thinking, I quickly just want to add a filter. I can just quickly Alt, Shift and F, and I'm going to stick that into the filters. If that was useful for you, as always, please do let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers for watching.